Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Appreciate you hopping on with us today as we are live talking to you about 6 tips that you can use to break the cycle of lost time so that you can become more effective.
Yep.
As you're hopping on, please drop where it is you're coming in from so we can give you a shout out. And if we have not met before, I am Becky Graff.
And I'm Tim Graff.
And we help home business entrepreneurs leverage powerful online strategies to help create the perfect lifestyle business.
If you guys are catching this on replay, please drop us a hashtag replay so that we can come back after the fact and say hi and see how you're doing.
Okay, so you guys, have you ever been faced with things that you need to do in your business and you find yourself putting it off?
Yeah.
Going and doing something else, scrolling Facebook, maybe going for an extra walk
She
after
gives
you
me
just
the
got
glare.
back. Okay, doing different things in your business that are maybe not, or actually not doing things in your business because you are,
Finding other things to occupy your time.
because maybe you're feeling a certain way about the activity that you're like, ooh, maybe I'm not super clear about how this is going to work out, so I'm going to go do laundry.
Sometimes we have that task that comes up that we feel just a little overwhelmed taking on, right? Or we just feel uncomfortable in general. Or we're just unclear as to, what the process, what that might look like.
And maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed about all the steps that go into it, and so you find yourself distracting yourself with different things, whether that be scrolling Facebook or making extra calls. In my case, I'll fully admit I found myself doing laundry instead of actually working on a task that I needed to do because it just seemed so enormous to me. I didn't know what was going to happen with it, and I was in overwhelm. That's just what was going on, and so I was looking for another task that needed to be done around the house that did need to be done. However, was it moving my business forward? Was it the most important thing for me to be doing at that time?
Exactly.
Or was I distracting myself so that I didn't have to face some hard truths about what was going on in my business? Okay.
If you guys haven't kind of guessed, we're talking about procrastination.
Well, because that's really what happens to our time. Okay. Our time is our most precious commodity. We all have just a finite amount of it. We've got schedules, we've got kids, we've got life happening. We're attempting to build a business. We have all these things. And so time is fleeting, right? A lot of times, and if this is you, if you relate to this, if you've ever felt like I just don't have enough time, there's not enough hours in the day, drop me one in the chat box, right? Because I think that we've all come to feel that at some point where there's just not enough time to get all of our things done.
I know I definitely feel that way. Have felt that way and do still today. I feel like, sometimes there's just so much that I need to get done that you sit down to start doing these different tasks and all of a sudden you look up and it's like, where did the day go?
Yeah, because a lot of
and
times
it's gone.
Yeah, because a lot of times we find ourselves sucked into things that we think are important that maybe aren't the most important in what our tasks are and what we're wanting to create for the results that we want. And so when we start feeling overwhelmed and unclear about things, that's really where it's easy to fall into procrastination, and
it's that easy way out.
And if you know what you need to be working on and you choose not to, if that's ever been you, drop me a 3 in the chat box, because we face it, you guys.
Yeah.
In our businesses, when
Absolutely.
we have things to do, we know what our priorities are. We know what we need to be doing, and yet how come we still find ourselves being dissuaded to do other things? What is it that even though we know what we should be doing, what we want to be doing, what we need to be doing to get our results, we still find ourselves sliding into distraction?
Yeah.
Okay? Or procrastinating it, putting it off because it's this big ominous thing that we just are not equipped to deal with in the moment, right?
Yep.
We're thinking in our mind. However, although procrastination does kind of give us that easy out, right? It momentarily removes that pressure, that angst of, I need to get this done. And it, you don't have to put out any effort really, but you also don't get anything in value in return.
That's right.
And so when we procrastinate, what does that do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm serious. Like, what does it do for you?
Honestly, at the moment, it relieves, like she said, it relieves that pressure, right? It's that easy way out to just kind of slip under the radar to make ourselves feel better in the moment.
Yep.
But when you think about the long-term effects, what does putting it off, that momentary relief, really cause in the long term?
And I'm curious, have you guys ever felt satisfied by procrastinating something? Like long term. Like for the minute, you're like, cool, this is awesome, I'm doing this. But then when you actually get back to your task at hand, do you feel satisfied in the choices that you made? Okay, because procrastination actually, honestly, you guys, it leads to depression, guilt,
Yes, it does.
and a lack of satisfaction. Because if you're procrastinating, you cannot get your intended result.
Yeah, you're not actually reaching
You're
that
not
intended
in
result.
action.
And to give you guys a little bit of a story here, we actually have a piece of our business that I have been attempting to build out for quite a few months now. It's going on about 3 months, and it's honestly because of lack of clarity, as well as, you know, and I not understanding exactly the steps that need to be put in place for this particular piece that we're building out. And so I find myself just kind of slipping it under the rug a little bit, you know, we'll get to it. And then I just keep slipping it under the rug. But the thing is, yeah, well, exactly.
No longer, but
well,
that was something that you'd been
right, exactly.
doing.
It just keeps getting slipped under the rug, and other things take priority, right, that are going on in our business. And the funny thing is the longer this gets pushed off and slipped under the rug, the more just frustrated I am with it. The more, you know, depression I slip into, you know, it just brings up all of those negative feelings.
Self-doubt, judgment.
Exactly.
All
All
of
those
those
things
negative
come up that don't need to be there, right? And it really just comes down to just sitting down and actually just getting her done.
Because you guys, when we procrastinate things, we're just adding to our stress level.
Yep.
Okay, we become more stressed because now we have less time because we procrastinated, right? That big snowball effect. If things are just gaining momentum down to that deep, dark pit of despair because nothing's working in our business now because we've procrastinated or we weren't getting clear or we don't have time.
Yep.
Okay, what are the behaviors that we're doing that are leading us down that path? And what can we do about it? Because we say all the time, most of us, if we're being 100% honest, that we just don't have time for a lot of things. We just don't have the time for it. Okay, but the beautiful thing about living in the day and age that we do now is we have a lot of time-saving things that we can actually leverage.
Exactly.
So that we can maximize the amount of time that we have. However, there's a caveat to that because we have to actually be clear on what are the results that we want so that we can leverage those things appropriately.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, the technology that we have nowadays, think about how much time the technology has freed up.
Think about if you had to write.
I mean, compared to like those doing this business, you know, old school years ago, right? Exactly.
Okay, driving to a meeting, meeting up with people. Okay, think about how, you know, sending handwritten letters, which is a great personal touch. But if you had to do all your communications on VHS and you had to wait for your tape to go out, and then you had to wait, you know, or a book, maybe you made a booklet, or you were typing out a letter to send to somebody, just start thinking about how much more efficient things are for you now in your business because you're able to do it online.
Well, and you think about when network marketing started, it was actually going out and actually handing people discs. You were going door to door and actually giving people a disc or a presentation, right? And then you know, it took time to go out and hand those out and then actually have to go back through and pick them up, you know, after the fact to follow up with these people. You think about everything that we can do just right here.
Yep,
with what we have with your phone.
Yep, you can send a message.
In a matter of minutes.
Yep, you can send a message, you can do a post, you can do a video. There's a ton that you can do. So we have a lot of things that we can leverage to increase our efficiency with our time.
Yep.
Okay, but the biggest thing is we, and this I'm curious if you ever find yourself in this position either. Or have before, where before you're starting a task, you just got to have a little bit more information. I just need a little bit more information before I can do X, Y, Z.
Anybody feel that way? I'm curious if you're out there, if you felt this way. Please give me a 1 in the chat box, because I know I have definitely done this.
Hey, information overload, you guys. Information is like the thing that we go after, right?
Yeah, I just need a little bit more
information,
understanding, a little bit more information about this before I can actually.
And then I need to have this different perspective here. And I know that my friend Susie on Facebook has got really great content on certain things, so I'm going to go see what she has. And then what happens? You're on social media. Now you're on Facebook and you're scrolling her newsfeed. And then you're going on to Instagram. And then from Instagram, you see something that pops up in your newsfeed and you're on YouTube. Okay? And then maybe you're reading an article and then you're checking out which shows just came out this weekend.
Exactly.
Okay? It's the rabbit hole of information.
And it's so easy to start down the rabbit hole of information. Before you know it, you're just, you know, you're Alice in Wonderland, just tumbling on down the rabbit hole.
And you guys, the thing is we don't need more information.
Yep.
Okay? We don't really need a ton more information. Maybe there's different snippets that we need. However, our biggest need is a clearer focus on how to get the result that we want.
Exactly.
It's a focus on what do we need to leverage? What information do we already have? How might we leverage it in a more effective way to get our results? And then take action.
Because there is a truckload of information out there. You can literally just spin and spin and spin and spin down this loop of more information, more information, more information. It's about taking the information that you have already and implementing it, taking action on it.
Yeah, because information overload, you guys, is the quickest way to fall into procrastination.
Exactly.
Because of that spiral that we just talked about, okay?
Yep.
You're looking for one specific thing, or you think that you need one more specific thing, and then all of a sudden you're down Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole, okay?
Chasing the white rabbit.
Yeah, there is, and you know what? There was actually a quote that I read not too long ago. I actually wrote it down here. It's from T.S. Eliot. He says, he describes this illusion of needing more information. Just need some more information, just need a little bit more information. He describes it as an endless cycle that brings knowledge of words and ignorance of the world. Ignorance of the word, in which wisdom is lost in the knowledge and knowledge is lost in information.
Spin that around a couple times.
Kind of a little bit wordy, but basically what he's getting at is we are so looking for information all the time.
Yep.
We want more information about everything, and yet information is just information unless you act upon it.
Exactly.
Unless you've actually experienced it and put into action, you don't have any wisdom to pull from what happened when I did what, right? You've got to actually act to be able to have results, to be able to pull a lesson out of.
Yep.
You can, go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, so if we're acting upon something, what is the first thing that we need to do to be able to act upon it, right? Anybody know? Any guesses?
What is the first thing you need to do to be able to act upon it?
In my mind, the first thing that we need to do, we need to prioritize, right?
Well, yes. If you're gonna wash the dishes, do you put them out in the yard first? Right? I mean,
Out the yard.
that depends if you're camping, right? Then that's different. No, but let's seriously think about it. If you were to wash the dishes, what would you?
What
need
are
to
the
do
steps?
first?
Yep,
Would
exactly.
you-
What are the steps
Would
to
you bring
doing
water to the table and then pour the water all over the table on top of the dishes, or would you actually take the dishes and take them over to the sink and then scrape off the food into your garbage disposal if you had it, and then load your dishwasher, or wash them old school way by hand?
Fill up the sink.
Okay, right? You've got to have certain steps in place
Exactly.
first and have a desired results.
It's about taking the information that you currently have,
Yes.
not going chasing down the rabbit hole of more, but taking the information that you're already aware of and prioritizing the steps that, using the information that you have,
Yep.
taking that information and putting together the steps that need to
Yes.
take place to take action.
Because the antidote to procrastination is prioritization.
Exactly.
Okay, knowing where you want to go, and then understanding and reverse engineering what things do I need
You have
to
to
do
have
to get there.
you have to have a beginning point, right? Of where you're starting, where you're ending, and then and break it out into
Right,
steps
what
as how to
happens
get
to
there. Right.
So you guys, 6 tips for you guys tonight to help you prioritize more effectively so that you're not wasting so much time. Okay, because we get lost in thinking and overanalyzing and the rabbit holes, all sorts of stuff, because most of us start out at a certain place where maybe we're not 100% clear about where we want to go. Okay, so we've got 6 things for you tonight. Number 1 is to think about your life. Think about those things and set your priorities.
Yeah.
Find some quiet time regularly, because things change, right? We've got different flows within our business and our dynamic within our home. Summer just ended, kids are back in school, so now things are shuffled again, right?
And you might find your times with kids back in school, you may find that you have a little bit more free time, right? A little bit
maybe
more
less
time
with school activities.
This is true.
Just
I guess it
depends.
depends on what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So take some time and really think about what it is that where you're wanting to go. What is the result you want and how you're going to get there? Spend some really serious time thinking about it and write it down.
Yep.
Okay. Second thing is to write down the tasks.
Yep.
Okay. So think about where you want to go. Write down where do you want to go.
Yep.
So that you have that written down. The number 2 thing is to think about all the tasks that you need to accomplish in the day. Okay, maybe that's taking kids to school, picking up carpool, making dinner, going and getting dinner, right? The different things that you have to do. Maybe you've got soccer or ballet or sports for your kids. Write down all of the things that you need to get done in the day.
Yep.
Okay, number 3 is to set based upon this information that I have, where I want to be, and
list.
the things I need to do every day.
Yep.
What are the short-term results that I want to get? What are my short-term gains? What can I get done today specifically that's going to move my business forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what's
And break
kind of
those-
that easiest thing that I can attack first?
And-
It's going to get me that first win.
And
That's
break
going to
it-
move me to the next win, right?
And break it down very, very simple, so that it's very simple, actionable steps, so that it's not
Exactly.
conceptual up in your head and super overwhelming.
Yep.
Okay. Number 4, you guys, is to write down your attainable goals. and work on them according to importance. So that means to prioritize. Now you've got your list of your day, the things that you need to do. Okay, you've got what you want to accomplish first, second, third, fourth in your business. Now, which of these priorities needs to be happening first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you prioritize your priorities.
Exactly. It is. You are prioritizing your
Exactly.
priorities because we all have things that are very important to us.
Yeah.
Family, you've got to eat, you've got to sleep.
Right.
Okay? Those are things that you have to schedule in. And within your business, there are things that are all equally, or they seem very equally important. So you've got to take some time and think about which one of these priorities really takes priority in what I'm attempting to get done right now.
Exactly. Because everything we do is important.
Yes. And you guys, number 5, to that point, everything's important, is you need to evaluate your investments. Okay, we're not talking just about monetary, what you're spending your money on, but also your time.
Yep.
Your time is your biggest asset, right?
Exactly.
And where specifically are you investing your time? Are you going to get the return that you want based on where you're focusing your time? And if you're not, what might you do about that?
It's important to also determine and to actually sit down and determine what your time is worth.
Absolutely. What is your time worth? I'm curious.
Exactly.
Have you ever sat down and thought about what it is that your time is valued at? Do you know how much you're worth per hour? Do you understand what you're giving up by doing an hour of Facebook scrolling?
Yeah.
Okay, or watching a different show. Hey, Alicia, thanks for hopping on.
People give their time more value, and they do,
Yeah, they do. They do need to give their time much more value than they do. Many people come from a corporate background where they're paid a certain wage for an hour of work.
Yeah.
And so that's what they attach the value of their time to.
Exactly.
However, as an entrepreneur, the things that you're developing, your skill sets, your time is much more valuable to that, especially in correlation to the amount of value that you're putting back into the marketplace. And understanding that if you want to make a certain amount of money per month or per year, you need to reverse engineer that and say, okay, if I only want to work 20 hours a week, but I want to be making X, what does that mean that my hour is worth?
Yep.
How much is my time really worth? And then start asking yourself, is ditching this thing that's a little bit uncomfortable?
Is this task that I'm currently doing?
Am I going to be negative? Am I
Exactly.
Am I going to really lose my shirt on my investment on this thing? Because you guys, it is. Everything that we do has an investment, either time or monetary or emotional. There is investment in everything that we do.
Exactly.
And that's how come prioritization is super, super important, is so that you have clarity about what it is that you're doing and the effect and impact it's going to have on you getting your results moving forward.
The other thing, the 6th tip, you guys, is you got to make sure that you're scheduling time to rest, to recover, to work on yourself, okay?
Yep.
To, whether that's exercise, whether that's doing personal development, whether it's just taking a few minutes aside from everything that you're doing and taking a breather, whether you're into yoga, whether you're into, meditation, just whatever it is that helps you recharge. Make sure that you're scheduling in that time to be able to recharge, because if you're just constantly go, and you have all of this information, you have all of these tasks, everything that we've talked about tonight, if you have all of this going on, it's real easy to get into overwhelm.
Yes.
And that's when we really procrastinate the most, is when we're overwhelmed.
And
so if you really just are able to take some time out and step away from it, that helps you be more effective when you move forward.
Yeah, and it also helps you have a healthier, more balanced life, right? Because we have so many things on our plate. We have to have balance between our different tasks and actions that we're doing.
Yep.
So we're building this thing that, perfect lifestyle business, right? We're after the perfect lifestyle business.
Exactly.
And
I love what, sorry, not to cut you off, but I love what Alicia says here. She says, I can't be the best for my clients if I'm not the best for myself. And that is so true.
You've got to have that personal care time so that you can help yourself, so that you can help others. And that balance, right?
Yep.
The perfect lifestyle business that you're looking for, that time and financial freedom that you're looking for, if you're constantly on the go 24/7, don't have time to eat, sleep, you're cranky, your blood sugars are dropping because you're not eating regularly, you're not getting sleep, okay, you don't have time with your family, you're sabotaging what it is you're attempting to create. So you need to sit down,
you're going to just reach burnout.
Yep, so by prioritization, you can actually start putting together, what would my ideal perfect life look like? What would that be? And how might I start living it every single day today? Maybe not all at once, but bits and pieces at a time. But having the clear understanding of what is important and not sacrificing those bits and pieces of time for short-term distractions for procrastination, okay, going down the rabbit hole,
Yep.
but really taking a look at where you're investing your time and how might you make it work for you in a more effective way.
Exactly.
We appreciate you guys being on. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Alicia, for your comments and everybody who's been giving the hearts and the likes. We see
Yep.
this coming through.
Everybody who's hopped
Appreciate
on,
you
we
so
appreciate
much.
you being here and taking a few moments out of your evening or morning or wherever time it is for you in the
Whenever
world.
you're tuning
wherever
in.
you're at.
Yep.
So, you guys remember to be curious, be bold, take action, and remember it's choice, not chance, that shapes your life.
Have a great one, you guys.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.